Hey there, this is Brent Hoodenpyle. Welcome to another episode of Persuading for Profits. Glad to have you with us today. We're going to dig into some sales stuff today. You know, we've talked in the previous episodes about the different philosophies maybe of marketing. We've talked about branded marketing. We've talked about direct response marketing. And today I want to get into something that we kind of touched on a little bit ago when we talked with Jared Fuller from LKCM Media Group. And that's the idea of how to onboard salespeople to really set them up for success. And I just wrote an article about this. It's going to be coming out on the Radio Update website very soon. I kind of wanted to dig into it because I think it's a good topic. You know, we were talking with Jared, and the question was, how long does it take for a salesperson to really get good as an account executive? And I think that we blow out a lot of good salespeople because they have a skewed sense of how long it takes. And Jared said, you know, minimum, it's going to take 6 months, and probably 6 to 12, 18 if you got it to really be cooking, right? I think a lot of people take the job and they think within the first 2 or 3 weeks, maybe a month at the tops, they're going to be rocking and rolling. And certainly some do, right? But by and large, you know, most people, it's a really hard slog there at the very beginning. And I think that a lot of times when we were looking for people, when we're hiring salespeople, and not just in sales, but in any profession, maybe, it's easy to talk about the good elements. It's easy to talk about the fun parts of the job, right? You know, especially in radio, right? You're going to be going to a lot of music events. You'll be doing a lot of events. You're not stuck behind a desk. You know, you're not stuck with the same salary. You can make more money. So we talk about all these cool things, but we kind of neglect talking to them about how hard it's going to be. And I think we do people a real disservice by doing that. And I think it comes kind of from a place of fear. You know, you see a good prospect come in the door. You don't want to lose them. You want to get them on board. And or a good candidate, I should say, prospect if you're selling to them, but you are kind of selling to them. You see a good candidate for a job walk through the door, and you want to get them. So you kind of maybe talk up the good stuff and maybe downplay the other stuff. And I think it should be just the opposite. You know, I was thinking about guys and ladies that join the Marines. They don't join it for the ice cream socials. You know, they don't join it for the Marine Corps ball. They join it because they know it's going to make them a bad dude, man. They're going to get tough. They're going to get hardened. They're going to be somebody that they're not. And they know it's going to be a transformative process, and they're ready for it. They know it's going to be hard. The Marines have that saying, right? Embrace the suck. And they are more than willing to do that. They're more than willing to go through all the hard stuff. And in fact, they're kind of looking forward to it, maybe some of them, in order to become the person that they want to become. Just lost my headphone here. Now, the thing about that is that when you don't let people know about that up front, you're going to, the fear is that you'll lose those people. But actually, if you let people know how hard it's going to be, hey, you know, you're going to have success over time, but not overnight. But at the end of this, you will be driving the nice car. You will have a recurring book of people advertising with you all the time. You will get to go all these events. You will meet all these people. It's going to be tough though at the beginning. If you prepare people for that, I think in a way you maybe will even get a better candidate. I referenced an article I read years ago. I looked it up on the internet. The article is still there of all websites, the Cracked magazine website. And it was honestly one of the most profound things I've ever read on the internet. It's about how the Karate Kid ruined Western civilization. And the premise of the article is that all these movies like the Karate Kid or Rocky or even the Sandra Bullock movie, Miss Congeniality, or things like that, where there's a normal person and they go through this 3-minute montage where they have this remarkable transformation and they become an expert and they become a champion. It really kind of skews people's idea of what it takes to succeed. And in the article, the guy dubbed it effort shock. It's kind of like sticker shock when you look at a car and you're like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of dollars. Effort shock is when you realize just how hard it's going to be, when you realize just how much time, energy, effort, and indeed pain it's going to take for you to succeed and reach your goal. I have a link to that in the article, so look for that coming out on the Radio Update website in the next couple of days here if it's not already up. And it's a great read. Now, so what is the antidote here? What is the solution to all this? Well, I think the solution to all this is in how you onboard people. How do you bring people on board to get them started on the right foot? And I think the first thing that you got to do is manage expectations, like we just kind of talked about. It's pretty obvious, but it has to be said. And here's the problem when you don't manage expectations and know that's going to let them know it's going to take a little time and it's going to be harder than you think it's going to be. People think they're failing when they're not. If somebody's out there and like, oh my gosh, I've been doing this 3 weeks, I should be better by now. I've been doing this 4 weeks, I should have all this by now. When actually they may be right on time or they may even be a little bit ahead of the curve. In the article I referenced James Clear's book, Atomic Habits. I believe it's in there that he tells the story of the ice cube. You have a room that's 0 degrees Fahrenheit, right? And there's a table in the room. There's this giant block of ice on the table. And you can raise the temperature to 15 degrees. The block of ice doesn't change. Now you're at 15 degrees. You can raise it another 15 degrees in that room to 30 degrees. The block of ice hasn't changed. You've done a lot of effort. You've actually made physical changes to the room, but the block of ice remains unchanged. It's not until you cross that 32 degree mark that the block of ice changes and it starts melting and you start getting water. That's what it is with giving people the right expectations. You're helping them see, look, you are making changes. Look, you are making progress. You just haven't seen the melt yet. You just haven't seen the breakthrough yet. Stick in there. You got a few more degrees to go. And that just helps people know that, okay, I am on the right track. I am doing the right thing. I am on the path to get there. You will keep going on the road that looks bad if you know that's going to take you where you want to go. If you don't, you're going to quit and burn out. And the sad part is you lose some really good people when you do that, when that happens. The next thing I would suggest is partner with them when you're onboarding people. You can tell people to do something. You can show them how to do it. You can berate them for not doing it. But, I use Tom Schreider in the article. He's a network marketing trainer, and he has a great story. It's about telling a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old how to clean up the room. You can tell them to do it. You can show them how to do it. You can get them in trouble for not doing it. But if you really want the room cleaned up, the best thing to do is to say, hey, this room needs to be cleaned up. Let's do it together. Here, come on, grab this. You grab this. And all of a sudden, now you're partners in the venture. Do you have to do that every time? No, but you have to get people going the right way so that they can see what is expected and that you are buying into that too. And that it's something that you would do. I think salespeople, when they get a new job, they're always afraid that they're not getting all the information. The really successful salespeople know something that they don't. And so when you can show them and partner with them, say, yes, this is the system that we set up for you. This is the way that we're going to succeed. That is really good at giving them the confidence to stick with it through the rough months. And the last thing is this. The last thing is when you're onboarding people and getting them started as an account executive, give them the tools they need to succeed. This isn't just maybe the company car or the CRM or the all of those kind of technical and logistical things that they need. It's really giving them the things that will help them in their career. One thing I think is impending events. This is largely understated, but it gives your salespeople a sense of urgency. Salespeople have a hard time creating urgency. In fact, they often want to save people that they're talking to. Well, this price isn't really good for the next couple of days. Actually, I can still get this for you if you change your mind later. That's not what you want to sell. That doesn't lead people to making a decision now. The only decisions that put money in the bank are the ones that happen now for you, not sometime in the future. So when you can offer structure into your sales cycle, an impending event, hey, this is happening now. We've got this big event coming up. Do you want in or not? Here's what I can do for you. That's a huge gift to give them, a huge thing that you can set them up with. Another thing is an offer. I mean, what kind of, we talked about offers in the direct response part about how you can help your advertisers create a good offer. What good offer can you create for your salespeople? What can you do to help? What offer can you send your salespeople out into the world with to help them really close the clients? To have the offer do most of the work, and the salespeople just come along and help out. And lastly, I think something that's overlooked is stories. What stories? What case studies can you give your salespeople that they can go out into the world and say, look, I know you may have doubts, but here's what happened to this guy last year. Here's what happened to this guy last year. Anytime they can answer an objection with a story, that is super powerful. That's going to give them, it takes things out of argument mode, and it takes things of like, well, I don't know about all that. It gives them the angle of saying, when they hear an objection, I don't know about all that. By knowing this guy had this thing last year, he was similar to you. We did this, and these are the results he got. And he actually paid more for it. Do you want to get in now at this discounted rate? That's very powerful when you can do that. And finally, I think, is culture and expectations. People love to have expectations that set upon them that maybe they don't like. Maybe they think it's even a little bit unfair. But when you can have expectations put on you by other people that make you stretch yourself, that pull you out of your comfort zone, when you have expectations on somebody else that exceeds their own, then you really start digging into people. Then you find out who's serious about the job or not, and who really wants the job. And when you have expectations like that, it creates a culture in your company. And when you have a culture of high expectations, and you've given people the right set expectations the right way, you've given people the right tools to succeed, you're not going to have a problem on onboarding new salespeople, because you won't be looking for that many of them. It'll be a rarity that people leave. When you can get things going like that, you may not be able to control the economy. You may not be able to control the radio industry, but those are things you can control as a sales manager. And when you can control those things, you can go a long way to creating a really good sales staff and helping people succeed in the business. And there's more to talk about. I think I'm going to cut it off there, though, today. Look for the article coming up on the Radio Update website. It's all about helping radio people succeed in all facets of the radio industry. And let me ask you this: who's the best salesperson you know? We're looking for guests on the show. This is a new podcast. We're looking for guests. Doesn't have to be a radio person. Contact us here at the Radio Update blog. Send in an email. Leave it in the comments below the video, whatever. And let's get them on the show and start getting you the skills and all the salespeople, the skills that you need to go out there into the marketplace, to present your product, and to persuade for profits. Thanks again. My name is Brent Hoodenpyle. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.